Hey, everybody. It's so good to be back here again. So let's look at some statistics. Okay. An average job attracts roughly about 250 relevant applications. And if we were to just go beyond the statistics, the numbers could range from anywhere from 200 to about 500 applications per job over a short span of time. There's a new report which has come in by Quicker Jobs that basically states that the rate of applications per job through the times of COVID has increased by a phenomenal 48% in India in comparison to an average applications per job that we would see before COVID really happened. So believe it's high time to go beyond the normal and carve your own niche, create your own differentiator if you have an intent to overcome the tough competition that you're surrounded by. So hence, we decided to pick up this topic, which is extremely relevant in the given times, which is about how to be visible in a cluttered job market. And for this conversation, I have with me Amrita Chakraborty, who is my business partner. Hey, Amrita.
Hi, Sheetal.
So as I was saying, Amrita is my business partner at InnoQuest, and she is a seasoned HR professional, has roughly about 15 plus years of experience in corporate and consulting organizations. She has predominantly been responsible for manpower planning, leading talent acquisition strategy, and also handling lateral and leadership, as well as executive search roles with multinational firms. Now, I'm also delighted to have with me, yet again, Snehal Sarkar. Hi, Snehal.
Hi, so nice to be back.
I know, good to have you back again. So Snehal is a certified master life coach from the American University of NLP, and she's also a corporate trainer with 15 plus years of experience working with multinationals across India as well as in Canada. Well, she is the founder of a company called Mind Mantras, through which she has initiated transformation in over 10,000 professionals and students. She's an expert in helping people create an effective job search strategy and is also a visiting faculty at Pune University and its affiliated colleges. So, well, I'm sure this conversation is going to be very interesting. So let me start with Amrita. Amrita, why do you believe that this topic that we are addressing today is of relevance? What do you think? What's your perspective on it?
Well, thanks, Sheetal, for the introductions and setting the context for today's discussion. And I'm really excited to join you and Snehal for this topic, which is very, very close to my heart. As you rightly pointed out, with this ever increasing talent pool and limited scope of job opportunities, more so during these pandemic times,
Yeah.
it becomes very important for an individual to stand out and cut through the competition, so to say. If some statistics were to be believed, they say the job market is like an iceberg, where only 30% of the opportunities are actually visible to the naked eye, while 70% of it is hidden. Now,
Absolutely.
people might say how hidden because there are as many opportunities floating or being marketed. However, what we are trying to say is, rather than the job coming to you, it's high time that you reach out to it even before your competition does, and
Yeah.
that's how you get separated from the herd.
Yeah, and I think technology has really made it so much more easier, isn't it?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. If you simply look at employers, and by virtue of being in corporates, we know we used to put a lot of impetus towards hiring through employee referrals, which is nothing but leveraging your employee networks, right?
True.
So I think establishing those networks, building those connections is definitely one of the key aspects of eventually reaching out, or getting through your next opportunity. Secondly, as more and more corporate organizations reach out to us for their talent needs, we see everybody perpetually is looking for the top talent or the cream de la cream, so to say. And these people could possibly be a part of the active job community or may not. And if I as a recruiter need to reach out to them, I need to cite them in social networking sites, right?
Absolutely.
So it's very, very important for each and everybody, whether an active or a passive job seeker or a tiptoer, as they call it, to have a social media presence. So yeah, I think these are the two key pillars, I would say: networking and having a social media presence, which would definitely, put you
Make a difference. Yeah.
apart or create that differential to stand out in the job market.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's quite relevant. So, Snehal, over to you. What do you think? When and how should you start preparing for your next career move?
So yeah, I mean, I like that you use the word career instead of job, because I think that's what it's all about. I mean, we
Yeah,
need to kind of be thinking about charting a career path for ourselves rather than just navigating towards one job, our next job,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So like how I like to put it is that we should plan ahead and work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So first, kind of indulge in some little self introspection to decide where do you see yourself in your careers, like probably 10 years from now, 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Once you assign certain goals for yourself, you can work backwards in towards achieving them, and then
Absolutely.
doing the
Yeah.
necessary things for it, which may involve, as Amrita said, even
Mm.
networking, like in meeting the right influencers, industry experts, interacting, finding out more. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's like more about having your eyes and ears open towards opportunities at all times. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
more of a continuous process. It's like, I have to attend my cousin's wedding in a few months from now.
Mm.
Now, to look fit and fabulous and fit into that right outfit, I must start exercising today, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we
Right.
need to put in that work continuously while we are in our current jobs
Mm.
or if we are studying, right? And for that, I think it's very important that we kind of be like a detective. So
Mm-hmm.
we dig deeper beyond the typical or obvious websites of companies just to look for
Mm-hmm.
information. So it's like, when Google says they are looking for googliness in an individual when they want to hire. So what is this googliness is something I'll have to kind of find out
Understand.
more about.
Yeah.
It's not written on any website directly, right?
True.
So
Yeah.
kind of probably listen to speakers or experts on different channels. I mean, today it's easy. You have
Mm.
YouTube or other social media channels. You can follow them on LinkedIn and so on. So listening and paying attention to what is being said. Even small little things like stocks or annual reports.
Mm-hmm.
Annual report, like for example, gave me a big clue when I was trying to get an opportunity with this IT engineering company. And in their annual report, the HR head had actually listed out that for the coming year, financial year,
Mm.
we want to integrate our employees all across the globe and make them into global citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And that one sentence gave me the cue that, okay, it's time. If I pitch my cultural sensitivity or, international communication kind of workshops to them, which will help them integrate their Indian employees
Mm-hmm.
with the American market, or pitch my North American experience to them,
You will
that
stand
probably
an
got me the
advantage.
deal.
Yeah.
So it was again a very unexpected source, but
Mm.
something as simple as our daily Economic Times articles.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm.
for example, the famous sweet chain of Pune, Chitle Bandhu, they came up with this. They were like a traditional sweet shops. They had expanded in terms of branches, but they never went online. But in this pandemic, imagine their sales suddenly stopped because shops were shut down.
Mm.
So they actually
Moved
had to have
online.
someone
Yeah.
come forward and
Mm.
develop an online portal for them where they could sell their products online again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure, I mean, this was not an opportunity openly advertised, but somebody who had been following the market trends, how businesses are being affected, and so on during this pandemic, approached them and took away that
Took that
opportunity.
advantage. Yeah. True. Very true.
Right. So we have, I mean, I really wish there was some technology which would constantly keep giving me market updates so that I know at all times what's happening.
Oh,
So
well, there is actually, it's a very critical channel and accessible to all, but oft gets missed. I'm sure you would have heard of something called Google Alerts. No,
yeah, true.
Yeah, well, Google Alerts is nothing but a content change detection service, which is offered by Google. So basically what happens is you you put in keywords, which you would want Google to search through. And if there are any changes that happen, or probably there is a new article or a web page which is published, or a blog or any research which is published, which contains the keywords that you have plugged in, that gets sent to you on a regular basis. You have to decide what's the frequency of you wanting that information. It lands up directly into your mailbox, and we often use it for our business as well.
Wow, it must be telling you, in fact, about any new companies expanding into your city, or
Oh, yes,
any
yes,
new
yes.
verticals
Yeah.
of organizations opening up where you can kind of find a
Absolutely.
place for yourself
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
so on, or for your candidates rather.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. In fact, another important aspect which we fail to see is our internal opportunities. While we are working in an organization,
Uh-huh.
we have a lot of transferable skills which can also help us grow in our careers. So
Right.
it's very important not just to be interacting with our immediate bosses or colleagues, but interdepartmental across the organization and so
Absolutely.
on, where we might just end up in some other department adding value and growing in the process as well in our careers, as long as it's aligned with our career path. It
Yeah.
sometimes helps. So it's not just important to kind of judge who in particular is going to help us in our careers. Surprises are everywhere. I mean, it's all about being alert at all times and aware.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it also, in fact, helps us in kind of connecting or speaking intelligently with employers when we are in, like interacting in different forums with them, because if you are able to speak about the market trends and so on, you also come across as somebody who's interested, curious, or of a learner mindset as well.
Yeah, absolutely with you on that. I think that's very that's very important, and it's necessary that you identify which market that you're targeting and who are the key influencers in that sphere as well. In fact, that brings us to a very, very crucial topic of networking. So if you actually look at it, your network, as they say, is not about how many contacts that you have on your list, but it's basically about how you're able to cultivate those relationships. How much are you investing in those relationships? Now, one space that definitely gets missed out and which we oft take for granted is basically your alumni network and your batchmates and ex-colleagues that you would have possibly worked with earlier. And that becomes a very crucial source, because there could be a lot of people from that space who would be in decision-making capabilities, or who may be able to act as influencers for that matter. And because we do not cultivate those relationships, we are not able to leverage those. Now, I'll not delve too deep into it, but yes, definitely that's an area that we should be keeping a watch on. The second is, of course, about networking events and conferences. Just don't turn those into a space where you go and exchange cards and forget about it. Stay in touch with the people that you meet up out there. Keep a track of who's coming in there, and see as to how is it that you can continue to build on that relationship that you would have built the minute you have exchanged your cards with those people. But I'm going to focus a little more in detail on LinkedIn, because that's a place where I think almost every professional who's looking at a job is going to be there. But I'll not take an entire session on that for sure. I'm just going to pick up some key highlights, which we as recruiters have observed people often miss out on. Firstly, your profile has to be updated at all times. And please make sure that your profile photograph is professional, not casual, no photographs, when you're stepping out of a party, or probably a blank picture definitely leaves a bad impression. Second, optimize your profile for a keyword search. And when I say that, I'm speaking from the perspective of being a recruiter myself. When I look at a profile, it's about whether the profile speaks to me in the same language that I am looking at a position for. Does it have the right keywords? Has that profile, or the person who has that profile, described the role that he or she is in, perfectly? The most important piece is that please give out the names of the organizations that you're working with. Just don't leave it at a confidential. That definitely does not speak well of you. Okay. Thirdly, there are tools which are available in the market, in fact, websites that help you evaluate and improve your profile ranking, which in turn results in you showing up in relevant searches. Okay. Last but not the least, recommendations. Make sure that you're timing it right and you are asking for it at a time when you know that the person would be happy to give you one, not at a time when you start looking out for a job. Now, taking it one step ahead, we are also going to be talking a little about the content. Okay. You have to prove that you are an expert in your domain. So make sure that you keep publishing relevant content which establishes your expertise in the area that you operate in. And there is something called a featured section, okay? Make sure that your best articles or the awards that you've won, etc., is kind of reflecting in the featured section of your LinkedIn profile, okay? So this is all about what you can do to your profile, but most importantly, make sure that you connect and interact with the content which has been put up by people who are relevant for you, which means either people who are sharing similar job profiles, or it could be people who are, in the kind of jobs that you are aspiring to be in, okay, and are active on LinkedIn. So that will take you a long way when it comes to your networking efforts.
So yeah, I mean, I could add to a couple of tips here, at least for the young professionals who I kind of meet on a day-to-day basis, is that they often complain that, ma'am, we're just starting out in our professional careers, so we don't have a big network. So the only tip here would be that every time you come in contact with a valid professional, you can ask them to connect you to just 2 more people. You know, and it could either be through online, like a platform such as LinkedIn, or it could be in person. Better still would be if they could introduce you as well to that contact. And, you know, just 2 contacts, nobody would mind. It's not like 100 references. Secondly, you mentioned about attending events. It's a great idea. But again, youngsters come and tell me, we can't afford. Many of these events are very expensive. Now here, you know, if you really go and see, memberships to these associations like chambers of commerce and so on are expensive if you're trying to join through an organization. But if you try and take individual membership, it's not much. An annual membership won't cost you that much, and it'll open doors to plethora of free events that they organize through the year. Secondly, if you can't pay your way through, then try and look to partner with the organizers of those events and go and volunteer. I mean, work for free, like be like one of those young people who, so gives you a backdoor entry, first of all, to interact.
Why did I not think of it when I was younger?
Yeah, that's a great hack.
I mean, see, we come from hotel management background, so we did it all the time. I mean, we did more to probably get access to 5-star hotels, etc., as young students. But yeah, I mean, as young working professionals also, it's great. I mean, you get to actually interact with the speakers also, because being part of the organizers team and so on. So yeah, just some quick tips to get.
No, that's definitely helpful. I'm sure not a lot of people would have really thought of it. Yeah.
I think Sheetal, Snehal, you made some great points in terms of how both online and offline networking can get you visible. But let's not forget how social networking sites can also cultivate and create a personal brand for an individual. So
yeah, absolutely. In fact, you're bang on there. And that's like a very, very crucial part of it, because if you have invested as much time in terms of leveraging your networks and planning and preparing, it would be a shame if you were to lose out on the opportunity because you haven't invested in yourself and, made an effort to create a personal brand for yourself. Please go on, Amrit. I think that's extremely relevant.
Yeah. So when we talk about social networking, I think there are quite a few in the market, but what's important is for you to understand which ones are the ones which are very relevant to your industry, and to which ones are the ones which garner that kind of a traffic. I won't touch upon LinkedIn much because you already spoke about quite a few good tips on how we can leverage LinkedIn. But one small bit addition would be to leverage the communities and the groups that are prevalent in these social networking sites, which possibly are of interest to you, as well as the ones which pull the kind of crowd which are relevant to your industry. So, for example, the marketing guys are bouncing off ideas on Warrior Forum or Wicked Fire, while currently we are recruiting some technology folks whom we are tracking through by virtue of their presence in these technology platforms or sites like GitHub or Stack Overflow, or people who are giving into open source communities. and so on and so forth. So I think when you are part of these critical, sites which are very, very relevant to your field, they definitely make you stand apart from the crowd.
Sure.
If you talk about the other channels like Facebook, which of course each of us is in there. So if you talk about Facebook, it becomes a great platform to channelize your personal connections. So to solicit the assistance of the connections on the networks that you have, in terms of not just letting them know that you're open to any possible opportunity, but also asking them in terms of if they have open opportunities in their organizations, or spread the word, or come back to you in case they cite something for you. If you talk about some of the other platforms like Instagram or Pinterest or YouTube, I think they turn out to be great platforms to be leveraged by people in the creative industry. Whether be it artists or musicians or
True.
Designers, graphic designers, interior decorators, trainers, and so on and so forth. So it not just gives you the freedom to put a creative display of your work, but also gives you a chance to showcase your communication skills, your personality, and definitely could be a big boost to landing you your next job.
Very true. Yeah, totally
Yeah.
agree with you on that. Yeah.
In fact, Amrita is right. Actually, like one of my friends, this is very unexpected. Like he's into he's an artist, and he's written books as well, an author as well. And he had just painted a wall in some part of Pune a few years back, and a friend of his clicked that picture and posted it on Facebook or and some other social media sites.
Okay.
And a movie producer who had something like that in mind for his upcoming film actually saw that and asked to get in touch with this boy, and he had no exposure to movies before that, and he actually got this opportunity to work not just as an artist but as a production designer and so on. And I was like, wow, I mean, you're working with them with no resume, no interview, you just straight away go and take on a job.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's about
I think
being at the right place at the right time.
I mean, Amrita's right. I mean, being visible at all times is really critical, I think.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of how the gentleman created a brand value for himself, and in turn landed up having an inbound job offer rather than going and pulling it out from the market per se.
True.
So yeah, it's all about being out there, being creative, like having your own web page, or as you can see, the video resume is doing the rounds these days. So especially if you are somebody from an industry which revolves around design and motion graphics, or as I was talking about, the creative side of the industry, a video resume would not just help you send across your bio data or your so-called resume, but it also kind of presents a piece of your work which can be utilized by a prospective employer to gauge your competencies and skills.
But then saying that, now I'm putting myself in a recruiter's shoes and asking you this question. Well, while a video resume does sound exciting, but from a recruiter's perspective, it would be like a nightmare if I were to receive as many resumes in a video format in my mailbox day in and day out. What do you say for that?
Yeah, I agree with you completely, Sheetal. So it may not work in where we are going the traditional route. So where a recruiter who is bombarded with hordes of resumes and to skim through, it may not be the perfect channel. However, nothing stops you from putting out a link to the web page, or the link or a link to the video resume that you've created for yourself. And if you were to eventually move onto the eventual rounds of discussions, they would always have it handy to kind of have your piece of your work to be seen, put out there on your resume itself. There are several other means of being cited. For example, write blogs, write articles. You can publish white papers. While during this pandemic, I think a lot of us are latching on to webinars. But how about going and speaking on a topic which is relevant to your industry? And I'm sure that would definitely get you that much needed visibility. Some other channels could be, I'm sure if you've seen Reddit and Quora, they are churning out some great content. So if you were to go and write great answers over there, you get upvoted, and as you get upvoted, you get a lot of traffic coming into your posts, and in turn, if you have a link to your profile, they then get directed to your profile, and you get the much needed visibility that you were looking for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think, yeah, those are a couple of examples. And like Sheetal said, content becomes a very important part, but make sure your content is the content you're churning is good quality, because when you are in social media or on social networking sites, it's not just your profile, but the content that you create also creates a perception amongst people, and which eventually makes them to decide whether to engage with you or not.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just keep that in mind, that the content that you're churning out is of great value. Just one word of caution, with as many employers now kind of checking out people's public social media pages and activity, make sure that you're not putting out anything derogatory, or which is something which could possibly decrease your chances of getting your next opportunity, like whether it's an article which is not well written, or not well communicated, or probably speaking ill about your current or your past employer,
or perhaps a political conversation.
Absolutely. So I think just steer clear of these topics, because more and more employers are now kind of reaching out on social media platforms to check the kind of personality that they are trying to recruit.
I think that's quite helpful. So Snehal, we've covered quite a few topics related to preparation, networking, and of course your personal brand. But from your experience, have you personally ever had any or witnessed any ideas or experiences that you feel are common yet are uncommonly used in spite of being extremely effective?
Well, for me, like after my campus placement, my first job through campus placement, I have always, I think, encountered employment opportunities was the most unusual ways. So, I mean, so a few years back when we had moved to Canada the first time, and I started looking for a job, I went with the traditional route, right? I sent out about 50 odd resumes in 1 month to different organizations on all possible portals existing in the country, and I didn't get a single interview call. And that's when luckily they helped new immigrants, so I was tied up to a mentor to help me in the process. And she said, but you sent out these 50 resumes, but where do you want to work? What is it that you want to do? And like, yeah, I mean, I was always looking at what organizations want, but what do I want?
Yeah.
And that's when she said, make a list of 10 companies where you want to work. And I did that also based on my location, considering I'll have to travel to these places and so on. And I actually sent them my resumes, and she taught me something that was called cold calling.
Wow. Okay.
So now, of course, the step prior to that was the preparation, like we said, being a detective and building my personal brand.
Cold calling typically perceived to be a salesy term, so to say?
Exactly. And like Amrita said, we already talking about making a brand of ourselves, right? So every brand needs a pitch. So it is actually like selling your own brand in a way. So why not cold call? I mean, why should we use the traditional routes? And secondly, of course, it needs a preparation. So in this case, like a good salesperson, I had to prepare a pitch, which was my own benefit statement or 30-second elevator pitch or whatever it is that we call it. And yes, it had to be customized to every job that I was reaching out to. So every company was different with different requirements. So I had to customize based on the skills that I have, that what I would be able to do for them. Even today, for example, as a communication trainer, if I'm pitching to a college, I would talk more about my job search strategy techniques or my campus recruitment kind of programs. If I'm speaking to corporates, I might more talk about my team building or effective communication programs and so on, right? So you have to customize that introduction, that tell me about yourself thing. And it's true, you have to be all the time prepared with it as well, because you never know when the next opportunity is knocking your door, right?
True,
Could just be in the mall when you're doing your grocery shopping, for example.
Absolutely.
We might just meet your potential employer. So yeah, I worked a lot on that elevator pitch. And so the day I made my cold call, now I had emailed my resumes to some of these companies, but the one which worked surprisingly for me, this organization where I had sent my resume by fax, the old school way. So the HR head actually had a hard copy of my resume reach her desk, and within a few hours I made a phone call, which unfortunately went into her voicemail. But then, because I had practiced an elevator pitch, I was able to leave an exact message of who I am, what I can do, what has been my past experience, and how does it align with the organizations and any requirements they may have. So these few things, 30 seconds, quick, short, crisp, right? And by evening, I received a call back from her. Next day, I was called in for an interview, and by the second day, I had an offer letter in my hand. So
wow, that's fantastic.
Now today, as a job search strategy coach, I do think that I should actually, this is a good way to formulate this model and actually use it in a more organized manner. That time it just happened for me. But yes, I could have done it way before I sent those 50 resumes, for example.
Yeah.
So because I reached out to the organization, they already had a profile in mind. They were looking at somebody, but they had not posted that opportunity out yet. And I just made it convenient. I mean, considering especially today's times, like after post-pandemic and all, every company is trying to cut costs. So, recruitment itself is a major cost for an organization. So if you are making it easier for them, making yourself visible
more
and
accessible,
available,
yes, that's right.
Why not? I mean, you at least have the first mover advantage. Another, now I find it funny, episode that happened with me was when my father was actually post-retirement, like he retired from the defense forces and was looking to start his second career. And he was consulting a renowned headhunter or recruitment specialist. So he was sitting in his office, and I was on a sabbatical actually pursuing my higher studies. And he receives a call from this manufacturing company, and there the HR head is discussing some issues they are having with their client visits, foreign clientele visiting India, and they're not able to handle them or manage the logistics and so on. So she was discussing her problem, and he said, okay, I have this young lady sitting in front of me. I'm going to send her across tomorrow. And then he said, Snehal, I have scheduled an interview for you. Take your resume, go to this manufacturing company. And I'm like, I have only hospitality industry experience. He says, no, but so you are going to solve their problem. So when I met, and so I was straight away escorted to the executive director's office. He slated out the troubles they were having. I was asked to provide solutions as to how, as in hotels, how do we manage these kind of foreign clients when they come in, etc. And that's it. I mean, I decided what my profile should be called, because they didn't have a profile like that beforehand. And it just worked out. Now, yes, since they were a big organization, they did have a process around it. So as Amrita mentioned, like organizations do post out these vacancies, and they did the same process. But because I had already undergone an interview, my resume was already way ahead in the process. I had gotten advantage of making that first impression.
Yeah.
So definitely I got the opportunity at the end of the day. So of course you can get a foot in the door. All these techniques that we are talking about can help you get a foot in the door, but you have to go there and deliver.
Prove yourself.
And for that, all those things we have been talking about, the research, the networking, speaking to experts, looking up websites, etc., will help you speak more intelligently, first of all, when you are in the room, and make a good first impression as well. So I personally feel it's not just about knowing your own job or your own role. You should be aware of the whole industry, I think, at all times.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks. I think that's helpful, and I'm so glad that we've been able to cover as much through this short session that we did. So just to put it all together, I feel that these are steps which could seem very daunting if you take everything at once. But saying that, when you actually start doing it, you would realize that these are actually small, doable steps. And as someone rightly said, that success is the sum of small efforts which are repeated day in and day out. And perhaps once you start doing them, it becomes a part of your second nature, and then it does not really seem like as as daunting anymore. Okay. So I'm glad that both of you were able to spend this time for this session, and I'm positive that it would be of great help to the audience which is watching this session with us. And yes, if all of you have any questions that you would want us to address or answer, please feel free to drop us a note or put it in the comments. We would be happy to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, great. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Amrita
so
and
much.
Snehal.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Neha.
Thanks, Sheetal. And I hope we all think about using all this to orchestrate our own careers going ahead.
yes, absolutely. I'm confident of that, actually. Great. Thank you. Thanks again.